I need your attention right now, my child. Not later. Not after another distraction. Not after you finish scrolling. Right now. Because this message cannot wait. Before you clicked on this video, before your eyes landed on these words, before your heart felt that small pull telling you to stay, I already knew this moment would come. And that is why I am speaking to you now with urgency. Not because I wish to frighten you, but because I love you too deeply to remain silent. There are seasons when I whisper, and there are moments when I call more directly. This is one of those moments. You may not realize it yet, but something inside you has been searching. Perhaps you have been carrying questions you cannot answer. Perhaps you have been asking me for a sign, for direction, for confirmation that I still see you. Maybe you have been trying to stay strong while silently battling exhaustion. Maybe your heart has grown tired from waiting, tired from hoping, tired from wondering when things will finally change. And still, you kept going. I saw every hidden tear. I heard every prayer you thought went unanswered. I noticed every moment when you felt forgotten. Beloved, you are not here by accident. Out of all the videos you could have watched, all the messages you could have ignored, your attention stopped here. That was not random. Your presence in this moment is not the product of chance. There is a reason your spirit paused. There is a reason your heart felt drawn to stay. Do not dismiss that feeling. There are people who will keep scrolling today. There are people who will hear countless voices and never recognize when mine is calling them. But something within you knows this moment is different. If you leave now, you may miss the very answer you have been asking for. You may walk away before hearing the confirmation your weary heart has needed. You may miss the clarity that could change how you see your current struggle. But if you stay, something powerful can happen. The confusion that has clouded your thoughts may begin to lift. The burden you've been carrying may start to make sense. The questions you've whispered in private may finally meet an answer. And the direction you've been seeking may become clearer than it has been in a very long time. I know where you are, my child. I know what you are facing. I know the battle nobody else sees. I know the weight behind your smile and the concerns hidden beneath your daily routine. Nothing about your life has escaped my attention. That is why this message could not wait. There is something I need you to hear before your next step. Something I need you to understand before you make another decision, before fear speaks louder than faith, before doubt convinces you that you are alone. So stay close. Open your heart. Listen carefully, because what comes next is the reason I brought you here today, and it may reveal exactly why this message was meant for you. My child, I need you to slow down for a moment and really listen to me, because you almost passed by this without realizing how important this moment truly is for you. I know your mind has been crowded lately. You have been carrying conversations in your head that no one else hears. You have been replaying disappointments, wondering if anything in your life is actually moving forward, wondering if the heaviness inside you is ever going to leave. And even while you tried to continue with your normal routine, there has been something inside you quietly searching for reassurance that you are not forgotten. That search is part of why you are here now. You may think you simply found another message while scrolling through your day, but I want you to understand that your soul has been restless for a reason. There have been moments recently when you felt emotionally tired in ways you could not explain. Certain things that once distracted you no longer satisfy you the same way. Some of the noise around you has started to feel empty, and deep down you have been craving something real, something that speaks directly to the part of you that has been hurting in silence. That is why I brought you here. I know exactly where your heart is right now, even if nobody around you fully understands it. You have asked questions privately that you never spoke out loud. You wondered whether your life was drifting without direction. You wondered if the things you lost changed you too much. At times you even questioned whether you still mattered the way you once believed you did. I heard every one of those thoughts, even the ones you felt ashamed to admit. And I need you to know that I did not step away from you during those moments. I stayed close while you struggled to hold yourself together. I watched you keep showing up for others while your own heart quietly grew exhausted. What you are feeling right now is not random. There is a reason this message feels personal to you. There is a reason your attention stayed here instead of moving on. I have been trying to reach the deeper part of you that has become guarded after so much disappointment. You learned how to survive pain, but somewhere along the way you also stopped expecting peace. You became careful with your hope because too many things let you down. I understand why your heart became cautious. I understand why trusting again feels difficult for you. But I am speaking to you now because I do not want you to continue believing that your story is only about surviving. There is still healing ahead of you. There is still meaning connected to your life that you cannot fully see yet. Some of the delays that frustrated you were not punishment. Some closed doors were protecting you from pasts that would have wounded you even more deeply later. You could not see that while it was happening, and honestly, some parts may still not make sense to you yet. But I have never lost sight of where I am leading you. I know you are tired. I know there are days when your smile feels heavier than people realize. But this moment is meant to remind you that you are not walking through your life unseen. I am still involved in your story, even in the places where things feel uncertain. And before anything else changes around you, I need your heart to begin understanding that you are not abandoned. You never were. My child, you have become so skilled at hiding your exhaustion that most people around you no longer notice when you are struggling. You answer questions with a small smile. You say you are fine because it feels easier than trying to explain the weight you carry every day. But I see beyond the version of yourself that you show to others. I see the part of you that sits quietly at night trying to gather enough strength for another morning. I know how many times you pushed yourself forward while your heart begged for rest. And I need you to stop pretending that you have to survive this life alone. Come closer to me for a moment and let your guard fall. Stop trying to hold every piece together by yourself. You were never created to carry endless pressure without comfort. Somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that asking for help made you weak. You started believing that your pain was something you had to manage in silence because nobody would truly understand it anyway. But I understand it completely. I was there during the nights when your thoughts became loud and restless. I watched you stare at the ceiling, replaying old conversations, old mistakes, old wounds that still ache inside you. You kept trying to solve everything in your own strength, while your spirit quietly grew tired. There are parts of your exhaustion that people cannot see because it does not always look dramatic from the outside. Sometimes it looks like losing motivation. Sometimes it looks like feeling emotionally numb around people you care about. Sometimes it feels like carrying a mountain of responsibility while secretly wondering how much longer you can keep going without breaking apart. You have been functioning, but deep inside, you have also been fading in certain places. And still, you kept moving. You kept showing up. You kept trying. I want you to know that I have never overlooked that effort. Listen carefully to me now. Stop speaking to yourself like someone who is beyond healing. Stop treating your heart like it only deserves survival instead of peace. You have carried enough fear, enough guilt, enough emotional strain. Set it down little by little and let me meet you there. Invite me into the places you usually hide from everyone else. I am not asking you to become perfect overnight. I am asking you to stop running from the truth that you are deeply tired and that you need care too. You do not have to prove your worth through constant struggle. You do not have to earn rest by reaching some impossible standard first. Sit with me here and breathe for a moment. Let your soul clench. There is healing that begins quietly, almost like light entering a dark room at sunrise. It does not arrive all at once like thunder crashing through the sky. Sometimes it begins softly, through honesty, through surrender, through finally admitting that your heart has been carrying too much for too long. And that is where I want to meet you now. My child, there is a difference between strength and emotional hiding, and lately you have confused the two without realizing it. You keep telling yourself to push through, stay busy, stay distracted, stay productive because slowing down feels dangerous to you. When life becomes quiet, feelings you tried to bury begin rising back to the surface. That is why you keep filling your days with noise, responsibilities, scrolling, conversations, anything that prevents you from sitting too long with your own thoughts. But your heart has been whispering something different for a long time now. Beneath all the pressure and movement, there is a deep craving for peace. I know how hard you have worked to appear unaffected by what hurt you. You became careful with your emotions because vulnerability once led to disappointment. You learned how to smile while carrying grief. You learned how to comfort other people while ignoring your own emotional wounds. There were moments when you needed someone to notice that you were struggling, yet instead of reaching out, you became quieter. Part of you feared becoming a burden. Part of you feared being misunderstood. So you carried your pain privately and called it strength. But listen to me closely now. Real peace cannot grow inside a heart that is constantly pretending. I do not want your polished version. I want the honest version of you. Bring me the frustrated thoughts you keep hiding. Bring me the confusion, the resentment, the sadness, the exhaustion. Stop editing yourself when you come to me. Stop believing you must sound strong all the time. Open your heart honestly and let me sit with you there. You have spent so much energy preparing for disappointment that you barely allow yourself to hope anymore. Even when good things begin appearing in your life, you hold back emotionally because you are already bracing for loss. The defensive posture has exhausted your spirit more than you realize. I do not want you living every day waiting for the next thing to go wrong. Come out of that survival mindset slowly. Let your nervous heart relearn safety again. I am inviting you now to release the pressure to always have everything under control. Stop gripping every situation so tightly. Stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. Some of the peace you are searching for will only come when you finally accept that you cannot fix every outcome yourself. Let me walk beside you instead of trying to outrun your fear alone. Trust me enough to loosen your grip, even if only a little at first. And while you listen to me now, pay attention to the quiet part of yourself that feels emotional hearing these words. That reaction matters. Your soul recognizes truth when it hears it. Deep down, you are tired of surviving emotionally cold and spiritually disconnected. You want warmth again. You want rest that reaches deeper than sleep. You want to feel safe inside your own heart again. And I want that for you too. My child, you have spent so much time searching outside yourself for relief that you barely noticed how empty those things left you afterward. I watched you turn toward people hoping they would finally say the words that healed your heart. I watched you keep conversations alive long after they stopped bringing peace because part of you was afraid of being alone with your thoughts again. You searched through distractions the way a thirsty person searches for water in a desert, hoping something temporary could quiet the ache living deep inside you. For a moment, those things gave comfort. They gave noise. They gave escape. But afterward, your spirit still felt restless. Sit with me honestly now and admit what your heart already knows. Some of the things you kept running toward were never truly healing you. They were only helping you avoid feeling the deeper loneliness underneath. You kept telling yourself that another relationship, another achievement, another distraction, another late-night conversation might finally settle the storm inside you. Yet every time the excitement faded, the silence returned again. And in that silence, you still felt the same questions waiting for you. I never judged you for that searching. I understand why you reached for whatever made the pain feel lighter, even briefly. You were trying to survive emotionally. You were trying to feel wanted, needed, connected. But I need you to stop building your emotional foundation on things that cannot hold the weight of your soul. Some people were never meant to carry the expectations you placed on them. Some distractions were only delaying conversations you needed to have with yourself and with me. Come closer now, and let me teach your heart the difference between temporary comfort and lasting peace. One fades quickly like smoke in the wind. The other stays steady even when life feels uncertain. You have chased enough things that spark brightly and disappear just as fast. You already know how exhausting that cycle feels. Stop running in circles searching for healing in places that leave you emptier afterward. I want you to pay attention to your spirit when everything becomes quiet again. Beneath all the noise, your soul has been asking deeper questions about purpose, belonging, and rest. You cannot silence those questions forever with entertainment, affection, or constant distraction. Your heart was created for something more grounded, more honest, more eternal. That is why certain habits no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Your spirit is waking up and recognizing that surface-level comfort is no longer enough. So stop for a moment. Put down the pressure to keep chasing things that never fully reach your heart. Let me meet you in the stillness you keep avoiding. Invite me into the empty spaces instead of filling them immediately with noise. I know silence scares you sometimes because it forces you to face what hurts. But healing often begins there, quietly, without performance, without pretending. And if you let me stay with you in that place, you will slowly discover that the peace you have been begging for was never hiding in the world around you. It was waiting for you to finally let me reach the deeper parts of you that have been hurting all along. My child, as you stop chasing empty wells that could never satisfy your soul, hear me clearly now. This message is reaching hearts that are just as thirsty as yours once was. There are weary people wandering through silent battles, and I am using this very word as living water for them. When you give through super thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not simply supporting a video. You are helping carry my light into dark places where hope has nearly gone out. Did I not say whoever gives even a cup of cold water in my name will not lose their reward? I am breathing life into seeds sown with obedience today. Some of you have been praying for breakthrough while I am inviting you to become part of someone else's breakthrough first. Do not ignore this holy stirring in your spirit, because this moment is not accidental. It is a divine appointment wrapped inside obedience. So now, support this mission immediately, and watch how I return peace, provision, and favor back into your life in ways you did not expect. My child, there have been moments in your life that felt strangely personal, almost like someone unseen was trying to get your attention, and deep down you knew it meant something even if you quickly brushed it aside afterward. I was there in those moments. I was reaching for you long before you recognized my voice clearly. Some of the things you called coincidence were actually quiet invitations from me trying to guide your heart back toward peace. Think about the times when you suddenly felt pulled to slow down even while your life was moving fast. Think about the conversations that stayed in your mind long after they ended. Think about the nights when a certain thought would not leave you alone no matter how hard you tried to distract yourself. You kept dismissing those moments because they did not arrive with thunder or dramatic signs. But I often speak gently, softly enough that only a listening heart notices. And despite all your attempts to ignore it, part of you kept feeling that something deeper was happening beneath the surface of your life. I know you have asked for signs before. You wanted certainty. You wanted direction clear enough to remove all doubt. But instead of forcing you, I kept reaching for you in smaller ways because I wanted your heart, not just your attention. I placed reminders in front of you when your spirit started drifting too far into hopelessness. I interrupted certain plans when you were walking toward situations that would have wounded you deeply later. I slowed things down when you were rushing into places your heart was not ready for yet. You became frustrated with some of those delays because you thought I was withholding good things from you. But step back for a moment and look more carefully at your life. Some disappointments protected you from future heartbreak. Some unanswered prayers saved you from outcomes you could not yet see clearly. I know that is difficult to accept while you are still hurting. But trust me enough to believe that my perspective reaches farther than yours does. And even now, I am still reaching for you. This message itself is part of that reaching. Do not ignore the emotional stirring happening inside you while you read these words. Pay attention to it. Sit with it. Your soul recognizes truth before your mind fully understands it sometimes. There is a reason these words feel close to your heart. So stop treating your life like a collection of random events, with no meaning attached to them. Open your eyes wider. Invite me into your awareness daily. Speak to me honestly when you feel uncertain instead of pretending you are fine. Watch more carefully for the quiet ways I move around you. I am closer to your life than you realize, and I have been guiding you through more moments than you could possibly count. Even during seasons when you felt abandoned, I never stepped away. I stayed beside you, patiently reaching for your attention while waiting for your heart to finally slow down enough to recognize my presence. My child, I know how painful waiting had been for you. There were seasons when you prayed with all the sincerity in your heart and still watched doors remain closed in front of you. You asked me for movement, for clarity, for relief, yet life seemed to move in slow motion while everyone around you appeared to be racing ahead. I saw the frustration building inside you. I heard the questions you whispered late at night when disappointment settled heavily on your chest. Part of you started wondering whether I had forgotten your prayers entirely. But listen to me carefully now, and let these words settle deeply into your spirit. Your delay was never proof that I abandoned you. Some of the things you begged for would have crushed your peace if they had arrived too early. Some relationships you cried over would have slowly drained the life from your spirit. Some opportunities looked beautiful from a distance, but carried hidden burdens you could not yet see. I know it hurt watching certain plans collapse in your hands. I know you interpreted some of those moments as rejection. But I need you to stop viewing every delay as punishment. Come closer and let me show you something important. You only saw the closed door. I saw the entire road behind it. You saw the excitement of the opportunity. I saw the exhaustion it would eventually bring you. You saw the person you wanted to hold on to. I saw the heartbreak waiting quietly beneath the surface. My protection does not always feel comfortable while you are inside the waiting season. Sometimes it feels confusing. Sometimes it feels unfair. Sometimes it feels like silence stretching endlessly across your life. But there were moments when I kept you still because your heart needed strengthening before carrying what you were asking for. You have been measuring your life against the timing of other people, and it has made your own journey feel smaller in your eyes. Stop doing that to yourself. Their path is not your path. Their timing is not your timing. You do not know the full weight attached to what they carry, just as they do not know the private battles you have survived. Release the pressure to constantly compare your progress. It only steals your peace and blinds you from recognizing how much growth has already happened inside you. I want you to trust me enough to believe that unanswered prayers are not always abandoned prayers. Sometimes they are redirected prayers. Sometimes they are delayed for your healing. Sometimes they are replaced with something far better than what you originally imagined. Invite me into your disappointment instead of quietly building resentment toward me. Speak honestly with me about your frustration. I can handle your questions. I can handle your confusion. And while you wait for certain answers, do not stand still emotionally. Keep your heart open. Keep growing. Keep becoming softer instead of bitter. There is still movement happening in your life even when you cannot see it clearly yet. Beneath the surface, I have been arranging things with more care than you realize. What feels delayed to you is often preparation in my hands. Trust that. Hold on to that. And stop calling yourself forgotten simply because your story is unfolding differently than you expected. My child, I know how often you look around and quietly wonder why your life feels slower than everyone else's. You see people building families, advancing careers, achieving goals, finding direction, and sometimes it feels as though you are standing still while the entire world keeps moving ahead without you. You smile politely when others celebrate milestones, but deep inside, comparison has been draining your confidence little by little. You have started measuring your worth against timelines that were never designed for your journey. I need you to stop doing that to your heart. Stop treating your life like a race where you are falling behind everyone else. Come sit with me for a moment and breathe away that pressure. You are carrying expectations that were built by noise, by culture, by fear, by watching other people's highlight moments while ignoring your own unseen growth. You keep focusing on what has not happened yet instead of recognizing how much you have already survived. The fact that you are still standing after everything you have walked through is not failure, it is strength. There are people who reached certain destinations quickly but lost themselves along the way. There are people smiling publicly while privately collapsing under the weight of lives they rushed into before they were emotionally prepared. Faster is not always healthier. Earlier is not always better. And I need you to stop assuming that delay automatically means deficiency. Your story is developing differently because your heart required a different kind of preparation. You have grown through pain in ways many people around you never had to. Some lessons entered your life through heartbreak, disappointment, loneliness, and uncertainty. Those seasons changed you deeply. They shaped your discernment. They strengthened parts of your character that comfort never could have developed. Even now, while you question your progress, there are qualities growing inside you that will matter far more in the future than temporary success ever could. Listen closely now. Do not rush yourself into decisions simply because fear is telling you that time is running out. Do not force relationships out of loneliness. Do not chase opportunities that steal your peace simply because they look impressive from the outside. Slow down and ask yourself whether your choices are being guided by wisdom or panic. You do not need to prove your value by exhausting yourself trying to keep pace with everyone around you. I want you to release the shame connected to your timeline. Release the fear that your best days already passed you by. Speak more gently to yourself when your journey feels uncertain. Invite me into the future you are afraid of and let me steady your heart there. You are not forgotten because your life looks different. You are not failing because your progress feels slower than someone else's. There are things still unfolding for you that you cannot see yet. There are connections, opportunities, moments of healing, and unexpected blessings still making their way toward your life. But you will miss the beauty of your own path if you spend all your energy staring at everyone else's road. Lift your eyes. Stay close to me. Your life is not late. Your story is still becoming something meaningful. My child, there are wounds inside you that did not come from failure alone. Some of your deepest pain came from feeling unwanted, overlooked, replaced, or emotionally abandoned by people you trusted. Rejection has a way of quietly reshaping the way you see yourself if you carry it too long without healing. I know how certain words stayed with you long after they were spoken. I know how certain moments replay in your mind even now, making you question your value in ways you rarely admit to anyone. You may have moved forward outwardly, but part of your heart still flinches when it remembers how easily some people walked away from you. Come closer to me and stop pretending those experiences did not affect you. They did. So reject and change the way you enter a relationship. Some rejection made you fearful of opening up honestly because you became convinced that vulnerability would only lead to more pain. You started protecting yourself emotionally by expecting disappointment before it even arrived. You became careful, guarded, cautious. And while those walls helped you survive certain seasons, they also made it difficult for peace, trust, and connection to fully reach your heart. I need you to understand something clearly. The way someone treated you is not a final definition of your worth. Human beings often reject what they do not understand, what they cannot control, or what no longer fits into the direction they personally want to go. Their decision to walk away may have revealed something about their limitations, not your value. Yet you carried their absence like proof that something was wrong with you. Little by little, you began measuring yourself through the eyes of people who never truly saw your heart correctly in the first place. Stop doing that to yourself now. Release the exhausting habit of replaying every rejection as evidence that you are not enough. Some people were assignments for a season, not permanent companions for your journey. Some relationships ended because I saw storms ahead that you could not yet recognize. You mourned certain endings while I quietly protected your future from deeper damage. I know rejection can feel sharp, almost like walking barefoot across broken glass while trying to convince everyone around you that your feet are not bleeding. But listen to me carefully. You are still worthy of love that feels safe. You are still worthy of honesty, gentleness, and care. Do not let past wounds convince you that emotional distance is the only way to survive. Open your heart slowly again. Not recklessly, but honestly. Invite me into the areas where fear still controls your reactions. Speak openly with me about the memories that still hurt. Stop burying them under distractions and pretending they no longer matter. Healing begins when you stop running from what wounded you and allow me to sit beside you there without shame. And while you listen to me now, remember this deeply. I never rejected you. Not during your worst moments. Not during your confusion. Not during the seasons when you struggled to even recognize yourself. I stayed. I am still staying. Let the truth begin rebuilding the parts of your identity that rejection tried to tear apart. My child, rejection tried to convince you that you were unseen. Yet I am now using your compassion to remind others that they are not forgotten either. Every act of support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description becomes oil poured into wounded hearts across the world. There are souls listening to these messages late at night while fighting battles nobody else knows about. And I am calling my people to help keep this river of healing flowing. Did I not tell you I will restore the years the locust has eaten? I am still restoring lives through words carried by willing hearts. Some of you feel this pull deeply because I planted generosity inside you long before this moment arrived. What you release into my work today will not return empty. I will multiply it like bread in the hands of the faithful. Do not delay what I am asking you to do right now. Step forward, give boldly, and help spread my voice to those crying out for hope. My child, there were moments when you stood in front of certain closed doors feeling devastated, confused, even angry with me. You prayed for opportunities to work out. You begged for relationships to stay. You tried forcing situations forward because you believed those things were the missing pieces your life needed. And when they collapsed anyway, you interpreted the silence as loss. But I need you to step back now and look at those moments differently. Some of the things you cried hardest over would have quietly destroyed your peace if they had remained in your life. I know you do not always understand my protection while you are inside the disappointment. At the time, all you can see is the door shutting in front of you. You feel the sting of rejection. You feel the frustration of delay. You feel the ache of watching your plans crumble after investing so much hope into them. But your vision only reaches the present moment. Mine reaches far beyond what your emotions can currently see. I saw conversations that would have wounded your spirit later. I saw emotional exhaustion waiting inside certain relationships. I saw opportunities that looked exciting on the surface but carried hidden pressure, hidden compromise, hidden emptiness underneath. Come sit with me honestly and think about your life carefully for a moment. There are situations you once begged to keep that you now realize would have damaged you deeply. There are people you cried over who later revealed sides of themselves that would have shattered your peace if they had stayed longer. There are paths you desperately wanted that would have pulled you away from the person you are becoming. At the time, losing those things felt unbearable. But now you can see at least part of what I was protecting you from. I want you to stop viewing every closed door as personal failure. Sometimes a closed door is mercy wearing uncomfortable clothing. Sometimes protection arrives disguised as disappointment. And sometimes what feels like loss in one season becomes the very thing you later thank me for saving you from. You do not always have enough information in the moment to understand why certain things must end. Release your grip on the belief that every painful ending means your life is falling apart. Some endings clear space for peace to finally enter your life. Some endings remove distractions that kept pulling you away from healing. Some endings break unhealthy attachments you would never have walked away from willingly. I know it hurt. I know there were nights when you sat in silence trying to understand why things unfolded the way they did. But I never stopped guiding you, even during those painful transitions. So stop chasing doors I already closed. Stop standing outside places where your spirit no longer belongs. Invite me into your uncertainty instead of trying to reopen what has already ended. There is wisdom in letting go, even when your emotions still want to hold on. Trust me enough to believe that peace matters more than temporary comfort. What I have ahead of you will never require you to abandon your emotional well-being just to keep it alive. My child, there are burdens sitting on your heart that were never yours to carry alone, yet you picked them up anyway and slowly turned them into evidence against yourself. You replay situations over and over in your mind, searching for the exact moment where you think you ruined everything. You examine old conversations, old choices, old relationships, and somewhere inside those memories you keep finding ways to accuse yourself. I know how often you silently wonder whether you were too much, not enough, too emotional, too trusting, too quiet, too broken. Those thoughts have exhausted your spirit more than people realize. Come sit with me honestly now and stop running from this conversation. Some of the pain you carry was created by people making choices that had nothing to do with your worth. Some people projected their own wounds onto you. Some people lacked the emotional maturity to love you correctly. Some situations collapsed because of circumstances beyond your control. Yet you absorbed the blame anyway because your heart desperately wanted answers. It felt easier to believe you were the problem than to accept that life can sometimes wound people unfairly. I know there are moments you wish you had handled differently. There are things you would change if you could go back. That is part of being human. But listen to me carefully now. Regret becomes dangerous when it turns into identity. You are not meant to build your entire self-image around your worst moments. You are not meant to wake up every day dragging chains from mistakes that I already want to help you heal from. Stop punishing yourself endlessly for things you have already cried over 1,000 times. Stop reopening old wounds just to prove to yourself that you deserve the pain. Your heart has been sitting in a courtroom of self-condemnation for too long, constantly presenting evidence against itself without allowing grace to speak. That is not how I see you. I see growth where you only see failure. I see survival where you only see weakness. I see a person who kept trying even while emotionally exhausted. Bring your guilt to me honestly instead of hiding inside it. Let me separate truth from shame inside your mind. Some lessons needed to teach you wisdom, but they were never meant to become lifelong prison walls around your heart. You cannot heal while constantly attacking yourself from within. Speak to yourself with more mercy. Speak to yourself the way you would comfort someone else you deeply love. And hear me clearly on this. You are allowed to move forward without hating yourself for your past. You are allowed to become softer again. You are allowed to outgrow old mistakes without carrying permanent shame attached to them. Do not confuse accountability with self-destruction. I am not asking you to deny what hurt you or what you regret. I am asking you to stop turning your pain into proof that you are unworthy of peace. Open your hands now and release some of that blame you keep gripping so tightly. Invite me into those memories instead of facing them alone. There is healing waiting for you beyond the constant cycle of self-condemnation. Let yourself receive it. My child, there were seasons when your prayers became quiet, scattered, uncertain, and sometimes disappeared altogether. Life exhausted you so deeply that even speaking to me felt difficult. Some nights you stared into silence without knowing what to say anymore. Some mornings you woke up carrying so much emotional heaviness that you could barely gather the energy to hope, let alone pray. And slowly, without fully noticing it, distance settled between your heart and your spiritual life. But I need you to understand something clearly now. Your silence never pushed me away. I stayed close to you, even when you stopped reaching for me consistently. I listened to the thoughts you never turned into formal prayers. I heard the sighs, the frustration, the confusion, the emotional exhaustion hidden underneath your daily routines. You thought you needed perfect words to reach me, but I have always understood the language of your heart long before sentences ever formed on your lips. Come closer now and stop carrying shame over your spiritual weariness. You judged yourself hardly for drifting, for doubting, for feeling numb. There were moments when you wondered whether I was disappointed in you because your faith no longer looked strong or steady. But your weakest seasons did not cancel my care for you. I saw how much pain you were carrying emotionally. I understood why your spirit became tired. And even while you struggled to stay connected, I never stopped watching over you. There were nights when you thought nobody understood how overwhelmed you truly felt. Yet I was there beside you in the silence. I watched you hold back tears while trying to stay functional for everyone else. I saw the fear you kept hidden under distraction and busyness. I heard the private thoughts that scared you to admit out loud. And even then, I did not turn away from you. My presence was not dependent on your ability to pray perfectly. I want you to release the belief that you need to clean yourself up emotionally before coming back close to me. Come as you are right now. Bring me your confusion. Bring me your doubts. Bring me your exhausted heart exactly as it is. Stop waiting until you feel spiritually stronger before reconnecting with me. Healing often begins before strength returns. Open your heart again slowly. Speak to me honestly, even if your words feel messy or uncertain. Sit quietly with me without forcing anything dramatic. Let trust rebuild naturally between us. You do not need to perform spirituality for me. I care about honesty far more than polished appearances. And while you listen now, remember this deeply. Every time you thought heaven was silent, I was still listening carefully to your life. I noticed the moments when you almost gave up but kept going anyway. I noticed the moments when you still showed kindness while privately hurting. I noticed every hidden battle. You were never abandoned during your silent seasons. I stayed beside you through every one of them, waiting patiently for your heart to feel safe enough to come close again. My child, there have been moments when the loneliness around you felt so thick that even crowded rooms could not remove it. You learned how to function while carrying that feeling quietly inside you. You answered messages, showed up for responsibilities, smiled in conversations, and still went home feeling emotionally disconnected from almost everyone around you. Some nights the silence in your life felt louder than noise itself. You kept wishing someone would notice how tired your heart had become without needing you to explain it first. I saw every one of those moments. I watched you sit with thoughts you could not comfortably share with other people because you feared being misunderstood. I know there were times when you felt emotionally invisible, like people appreciated what you did for them, but rarely stopped to ask how you were truly doing inside. That loneliness changed parts of you slowly. It made you more guarded. It made you hesitate before opening your heart honestly because disappointment had already taught you how painful unmet expectations can become. Come closer to me now and stop convincing yourself that isolation is the safest way to live. I understand why your heart became cautious, but you were never designed to carry your emotional life completely alone. Some of your exhaustion does not come from weakness. It comes from carrying too much internally without safe places to release it. Your spirit has been starving for genuine connection, for rest, for comfort that feels real instead of temporary. I need you to hear this deeply. Being alone and being abandoned are not the same thing. There were many moments when you felt forgotten, yet I remained close beside you even while your emotions told you otherwise. I stayed during the long nights when anxiety filled your thoughts. I stayed during the mornings when getting out of bed felt emotionally heavy. I stayed during the moments when tears came unexpectedly because your heart had been holding too much for too long. You may not have sensed my presence clearly then, but I never stepped away from your life. Open your heart again slowly instead of burying yourself deeper inside emotional walls. Invite me into the loneliness instead of immediately distracting yourself from it. Sit quietly with me for a while without reaching for noise every second. Your healing will not come from endlessly escaping your emotions. They will come from allowing yourself to be comforted honestly. And listen carefully to this part, my child. The loneliness you carry now is not the final chapter of your story. There are still meaningful connections ahead of you. There are still conversations that will make your heart feel understood again. There are still people who will see you beyond surface-level interactions. Do not let temporary loneliness convince you that you are permanently unwanted. For now, stay close to me. Let my presence steady your heart while other things are still unfolding. Rest here for a moment without pretending to be stronger than you feel. You do not have to survive this season by yourself anymore. I am already here beside you, and I have been all along. My child, you now understand that loneliness was never meant to become your permanent home, and neither were these messages meant to stop with only you. There are people sitting in isolation this very hour, praying for one sign that I still see them, and your support helps carry that answer directly to them. Every super thanks, every membership, and every gift through the PayPal link in the description becomes like manna in the wilderness, sustaining this mission so my word can continue reaching the broken, the anxious, and the forgotten. I told you in my word that light shines brightest in darkness, and I am igniting lights through every soul who chooses to give with faith. Some of you have asked me to use your life for something eternal, and this is one of those sacred moments where heaven is watching your response. What you sow into healing, I will breathe back into your own house with multiplied peace and unseen protection. Do not scroll away from this moment carelessly. Act now, support this mission, and help carry my comfort into hearts that are still crying in silence. My child, I know there were nights when your mind would not let you rest. Your body felt exhausted, but your thoughts kept moving like restless waves crashing against the shore again and again. You replayed conversations, regrets, fears, unanswered questions, and imagined futures until your chest felt tight with emotional exhaustion. Sometimes the darkness around you felt calm while the storm inside your head grew louder with every passing hour. You tried distracting yourself, scrolling endlessly, watching the clock move slowly, hoping sleep would finally quiet your mind. But peace felt far away on those nights. I was there through every one of them. I watched you carry fears you rarely spoke out loud. I know how anxiety can make even small problems feel enormous at midnight. I know how loneliness feels heavier when the world grows quiet around you. There were moments when your own thoughts became so sharp that you started doubting yourself, doubting your future, doubting whether life would ever feel lighter again. And while you sat there feeling emotionally overwhelmed, I stayed close beside you even when you could not sense me clearly. Come sit with me honestly now and stop treating those struggles like weakness. Your mind has been under pressure for a long time. You carried emotional strain while trying to appear functional during the day, and eventually those buried feelings began surfacing at night when distractions faded away. That does not make you broken. It makes you human. But I do not want you fighting those battles alone anymore. The next time your thoughts begin spiraling, pause for a moment and invite me into the middle of the noise instead of trying to survive it entirely by yourself. Speak honestly with me. Tell me what scares you. Tell me what feels heavy. Stop believing you must hide your mental exhaustion from me. I already see it clearly, and I am not disappointed in you for struggling. There are thoughts you have entertained for too long that are quietly draining the life from your spirit. Thoughts telling you that nothing will improve. Thoughts convincing you that you are trapped, forgotten, emotionally damaged beyond healing. I need you to stop feeding those voices with endless attention. Not every fearful thought deserves your trust. Not every dark prediction deserves space inside your heart. Breathe slowly now and let your soul settle for a moment. You do not have to solve your entire future tonight. You do not need all the answers immediately. Some peace returns gradually when you stop demanding certainty about everything ahead of you. Rest your mind here with me instead of carrying tomorrow before it even arrives. And remember this carefully, my child. The nights that nearly broke you emotionally also revealed how deeply you needed comfort beyond your own strength. You survived those heavy nights because I quietly carried parts of your burden when you no longer had strength left yourself. Let that truth stay with you the next time darkness feels overwhelming. You are not alone inside your thoughts anymore. My child, I know how often your mind drifts into tomorrow carrying fear before the day even arrives. You think about what could go wrong, what might fall apart, what you may lose, what may never happen for you, and little by little those thoughts have begun stealing the peace that belongs to your present life. You have spent so much energy preparing yourself for pain that you rarely allow yourself to fully enjoy moments of calm when they finally appear. Even during good days, part of your heart stays tense, waiting for something difficult to happen next. I need you to pause right now and notice how exhausting that has become for your spirit. You are carrying imaginary storms before the clouds have even formed. Your mind keeps running ahead of your life trying to control outcomes that do not yet exist. I understand why fear developed inside you. Disappointment taught you to become cautious. Heartbreak taught you to expect sudden changes. Seasons of uncertainty trained your nervous system to stay alert constantly, almost like a house with every light switched on through the middle of the night because someone fears what darkness might contain. But come sit with me for a moment and loosen your grip on the future. You cannot heal while constantly living emotionally 10 steps ahead of yourself. Your heart was never designed to carry every possible outcome all at once. Some of your anxiety is growing simply because you keep rehearsing pain that has not happened. You are standing in today while emotionally drowning in possibilities connected to tomorrow. Listen carefully now. I am not asking you to ignore wisdom or responsibility. I am asking you to stop allowing fear to become the loudest voice guiding your decisions. Fear will always exaggerate uncertainty until it feels enormous. It turns small concerns into mountains. It whispers that peace is temporary and danger is permanent. But not every fearful prediction deserves your trust. Not every anxious thought speaks truth about your future. Take a breath slowly and invite me into the worries you keep carrying privately. Speak them honestly instead of letting them quietly multiply inside your mind. Stop pretending you are stronger than you feel. I already know where your heart becomes afraid. Let me steady you there. And while you listen now, notice how much life you have already survived. There were seasons you once believed would completely destroy you, yet somehow you are still here breathing, learning, growing. You did not carry yourself through every one of those moments alone. I stayed beside you through every storm, every setback, every fearful night. The same care that carried you before has not disappeared now. Do not sacrifice today's peace because tomorrow feels uncertain. Look around you more carefully. There is still beauty near you. There are still quiet blessings surrounding your life that fear keeps distracting you from noticing. Let your shoulders relax a little. Let your mind rest for a while instead of constantly racing ahead searching for danger. I will help you face tomorrow when tomorrow arrives. You do not need to carry it all tonight. My child, your heart has been running on exhaustion for longer than you realize. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You move through responsibilities while carrying invisible emotional weight inside your chest. Some days your spirit feels stretched so thin that even small problems feel overwhelming. You have normalized stress for so long that peace almost feels unfamiliar to you now. And I need you to hear me clearly. This constant state of anxiety and emotional survival is not how I intended you to live. Come closer and stop brushing past your exhaustion like it does not matter. Your soul has been trying to tell you that something deeper needs attention. You cannot endlessly pour yourself into pressure, fear, overthinking, disappointment, and emotional strain without consequences reaching your heart eventually. Yet you keep pushing yourself forward, as though rest must be earned only after you completely collapse. Sit with me honestly now and admit how tired you truly are. Not just physically tired, but emotionally tired, mentally tired, spiritually tired, tired of carrying responsibilities while feeling unseen, tired of trying to stay strong while your inner world feels unsettled, tired of pretending you are managing better than you actually are. I already know the weight you carry, so stop hiding it from me. There are habits in your life that have quietly fed your anxiety for years. Constant comparison, constant pressure, constant fear of disappointing people, constant anticipation of worst-case scenarios. Your thoughts have been moving so fast that your soul barely has room to breathe anymore. It is like trying to rest beside a roaring storm that never fully grows quiet. No wonder your heart feels drained. I want you to begin choosing peace more intentionally now. Slow down where you can. Step away from noise that keeps your spirit unsettled. Stop consuming things that constantly feed fear inside your mind. Give yourself permission to rest without guilt attached to it. Open your hands and release the pressure to control every outcome around you. And listen carefully to this part, my child. Healing does not always arrive dramatically like lightning splitting the sky. Sometimes it begins quietly, almost like soft rain falling onto dry ground after a long season of heat and drought. Sometimes healing begins when you finally allow yourself to admit that you need help carrying what has become too heavy alone. That honesty is not weakness. That honesty is wisdom. Invite me into your daily life again instead of only reaching for me during emergencies. Let me walk beside you through ordinary moments too. Speak with me while driving, while sitting quietly, while lying awake at night. Build spaces of stillness back into your life so your heart can breathe again. You were never meant to live every day trapped in survival mode. There is peace available for you beyond this constant exhaustion. Not a fake peace that disappears when problems come, but a deeper steadiness that remains even while life feels uncertain. I want to lead your heart there slowly. Stay close to me and let your soul begin unclenching one breath at a time. My child, there are certain pains you thought you had already healed from, yet every time someone disappoints you, abandons you, ignores you, or changes toward you unexpectedly, those old wounds begin aching all over again. You may tell yourself you moved on long ago, but your reactions still reveal how deeply some experiences mark your heart. Certain words affect you more than they should. Certain silences feel heavier than they appear. Sometimes one small moment in the present suddenly awakens emotions connected to things that happened years ago. I need you to stop judging yourself harshly for that. Emotional wounds do not always disappear simply because time passes. Some hurts settle quietly beneath the surface until another disappointment brushes against them again like a hand pressing against a hidden bruise. You became skilled at surviving pain, but survival is not the same thing as healing. There are still places inside your heart carrying fear from moments when trust was broken unexpectedly. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending those wounds no longer exist. You do not need to act unbothered all the time. I already know how certain experiences change the way you interpret relationships. Some betrayals taught you to expect people to leave eventually. Some disappointments convinced you not to fully trust kindness because part of you fears it will disappear later. You started protecting yourself emotionally before others even had the chance to hurt you. And while that may have felt safer, it also kept genuine peace from fully settling into your heart. Listen carefully now. Not everyone who disappoints you is trying to destroy you, but your old wounds sometimes react as though danger is everywhere. Your nervous heart learned to stay alert after being hurt too many times. That is why certain situations feel larger emotionally than they appear outwardly. You are not weak because your heart still reacts. You are wounded in places that need gentleness instead of constant self-criticism. Bring those reactions to me instead of hiding them behind anger, withdrawal, or emotional distance. Speak honestly with me when certain moments trigger fear or sadness inside you. Stop telling yourself to simply get over it while ignoring the deeper ache underneath. Healing grows slowly through honesty, patience, and safe connection. You do not have to force yourself numb just to appear strong. And while you listen to me now, notice something important. Even after everything that wounded you, your heart still longs for connection instead of becoming completely cold. That matters deeply. It means pain did not fully destroy your capacity to love, trust, or hope. There is still tenderness alive inside you, even if fear tries to cover it sometimes. So breathe slowly and let your guarded heart rest for a moment. Stop preparing yourself for disappointment every second. Let me teach your spirit how to feel safe again. You do not need to carry every old wound into every new relationship or every new season of your life. Healing is possible, my child. Stay close to me while it unfolds little by little inside you. My child, the wounds you carry have made you sensitive to pain, but I can also use that sensitivity to recognize the hurting souls I am trying to reach through this message. There are people trapped inside cycles of fear, heartbreak, and emotional exhaustion, and I am sending my voice to find them before despair hardens their hearts completely. When you support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become part of that rescue. Your giving becomes fire on the altar, keeping this assignment burning so more lives can encounter my healing presence. Did I not say, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy"? The compassion you release today will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. This is not merely generosity. This is spiritual warfare against hopelessness, loneliness, and despair. So do not hesitate while your spirit is being stirred. Give now, obey quickly, and help send this message exactly where I need it to go. My child, there have been many moments when people looked at you and assumed you were doing fine simply because you kept smiling. You learned how to appear okay even while your heart quietly carried exhaustion underneath. You became skilled at comforting others, encouraging others, showing up for responsibilities, and continuing forward while privately feeling emotionally drained. Most people around you only saw the surface. They did not see the effort it took just to keep yourself steady through certain days. But I saw it all. I saw the moments after conversations ended and your smile slowly faded because it was covering more pain than anyone realized. I saw how often you pushed your own emotions aside to avoid becoming a burden to other people. You kept telling yourself to stay strong, stay calm, stay functional, even while your spirit felt tired in ways words could barely explain. Some days your soul felt like a candle burning at both ends, still giving light while quietly melting down inside. Come closer now and stop carrying this exhaustion in silence. You do not need to convince me that you are stronger than you feel. I already know how heavy your heart has become at times. I know how difficult it has been to keep moving while parts of you secretly long for rest. There were days when you felt emotionally numb because your mind and body had been under pressure for too long. There were nights when you wanted someone to simply notice your pain without needing you to explain it first. I want you to stop minimizing your exhaustion just because other people seem to expect so much from you. Your emotional well-being matters too. Your peace matters too. Your heart is not a machine designed to endlessly absorb pressure without care. Yet you have been carrying responsibilities, expectations, disappointments, and emotional strain like someone trying to carry a mountain alone across a stormy road. Lay some of that weight down now. Stop forcing yourself to smile through every wound without allowing yourself moments of honesty and rest. You are allowed to admit when your spirit feels weary. You are allowed to step back from things that constantly drain your peace. You are allowed to need comfort too. And listen carefully, my child. The tiredness inside you is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is the result of carrying emotional battles for too long without enough healing. Your soul has been whispering for rest while your mind kept demanding more from yourself. I do not want you living trapped inside endless pressure. Sit quietly with me for a moment and breathe deeply. Let your shoulders relax. Let your guarded heart soften. Invite me into the places where exhaustion has settled most heavily. I know how much strength it took for you to survive everything you already walked through. But survival is not the only thing I want for you anymore. I want peace to return to your life too. My child, for a long time your life has revolved around endurance. You learned how to wake up and keep moving no matter how heavy your emotions felt. You became skilled at adapting to pressure, disappointment, uncertainty, and emotional strain because survival demanded it from you. Somewhere along the journey, surviving became so normal that you stopped noticing how deeply exhausted your spirit truly was. You kept telling yourself, Just get through this week. Just handle this problem. Just make it through one more difficult season. And little by little, that mindset became your permanent way of living. I need you to stop for a moment and notice what that constant survival mode has done to your heart. You have grown so accustomed to tension that calmness sometimes feels unfamiliar. You struggle to fully relax because part of your mind is always scanning for the next problem. Even in peaceful moments, your thoughts remain alert, always waiting for life to suddenly collapse again. Your nervous system has been carrying years of emotional weight like a traveler dragging overflowing suitcases through an endless storm. Come sit with me honestly now, and let yourself admit how tired you are of merely surviving. You were created for more than constant emotional defense. You were not meant to spend your life always bracing for impact. Yet fear, disappointment, and uncertainty slowly train your heart to believe that struggle would always be your normal state. You became emotionally guarded because peace felt temporary and pain felt predictable. But listen carefully to me now. Survival kept you alive through difficult seasons, and I am grateful you held on. Yet survival is not meant to become your permanent identity. There is a difference between being alive and truly living with peace inside your spirit. I want your heart to experience rest again without guilt attached to it. I want you to wake up without immediately feeling pressure crush your chest. I want your mind to stop racing like an engine running endlessly without pause. Start loosening your grip on constant control. Stop treating every day like a battlefield before it even begins. Give yourself permission to experience small moments of stillness without immediately filling them with worry. Sit quietly with me sometimes without asking for anything at all. Let your soul remember what calmness feels like again. And while you listen now, notice how your body reacts to stress even before your mind fully understands it. The tension in your shoulders, the heaviness in your chest, the exhaustion behind your smile. Your spirit has been carrying too much for too long. I do not want you walking through life emotionally numb just because surviving became familiar to you. There is another way to live, my child. Not a life without challenges, but a life where peace slowly becomes stronger than panic. Stay close to me while your heart relearns that safety is possible. Let me steady the parts of you that have been trapped in survival mode for years. You do not need to fight every battle alone anymore. My child, one of the heaviest burdens you have carried is the belief that you must handle everything alone. Even when your heart feels overwhelmed, you keep trying to solve every problem privately before anyone notices you are struggling. You carry responsibilities silently. You absorb stress quietly. You hold emotional pain inside yourself until it becomes almost unbearable. And still you keep telling yourself to stay strong for everyone else. But I need you to hear me clearly now. You were never meant to carry the full weight of life alone. Come closer and set some of that heaviness down for a moment. Stop gripping your burden so tightly. I know part of you fears becoming dependent on others because past disappointments taught you to rely mostly on yourself. Some people failed you when you needed support the most. Some people misunderstood your pain or minimized what you were carrying. So gradually you built emotional independence like armor around your heart. You convinced yourself that asking for help made you weak or vulnerable. But listen carefully now. There is a difference between strength and isolation. You have confused the two for too long. True strength is not pretending you never feel overwhelmed. True strength is allowing honesty to replace exhaustion. Your spirit is tired because you keep trying to carry mountains with bare hands while refusing rest, comfort, or support. I already know the private battles happening inside your mind. I know the fears you rarely say out loud. I know how often you feel pressure to keep functioning even when your emotional energy feels nearly empty. And still, you continue trying to manage every detail of your future as though the survival of your entire life depends only on your shoulders. My child, release that pressure little by little. It was never meant to belong entirely to you. Invite me into your worries instead of replaying them endlessly inside your head. Speak honestly with me when fear rises instead of silently carrying it until it overwhelms you. Stop trying to appear unshaken every moment of the day. You do not need to impress me with constant strength. I would rather see your honest heart than your exhausted performance. And while you listen now, understand something important. Carrying everything alone has slowly isolated you emotionally from the very peace you have been searching for. Your heart became so focused on survival and control that rest started feeling irresponsible to you. But rest is not weakness. Trust is not weakness. Receiving help is not weakness. Take a breath slowly now and imagine setting down every heavy thought you have been carrying like stones piled inside your arms. You were never created to live crushed beneath endless emotional weight. Let me walk beside you instead of always racing ahead trying to solve everything alone. I am not asking you to have every answer immediately. I am asking you to stop shutting me out while you struggle in silence. You do not have to hold your entire world together by yourself anymore. Let me help carry what has become too heavy for your heart alone. My child, I know there are people connected to your pain whose names still stir emotion inside you the moment you think about them. Some memories still carry sharp edges. Some betrayals still feel unfair no matter how much time has passed. You tried to move on, but certain wounds stayed alive beneath the surface because part of your heart never fully healed from what happened. And quietly, without realizing it, you began carrying bitterness like a hidden weight inside your spirit. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending that unforgiveness is protecting you. I understand why your heart became angry. I understand why certain actions felt impossible to excuse. Some people wounded you deeply while barely recognizing the damage they caused. Some left you carrying emotional scars while they continued with their lives untouched by the pain they created. I know how unfair that feels. But listen carefully to me now. Holding on to bitterness does not punish the people who hurt you nearly as much as it slowly poisons your own peace. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. It does not mean your pain was imaginary. It does not require immediate trust or pretending the wound never existed. Forgiveness means releasing your heart from constantly reliving the injury. It means refusing to let someone else's actions permanently control your emotional world. Right now, some of your exhaustion comes from carrying old pain like a backpack full of stones across every new season of your life. I want you to lay some of those stones down. Stop replaying old conversations hoping they will suddenly change. Stop reopening wounds trying to understand why certain people failed you the way they did. Some answers will never fully satisfy your heart anyway. Healing begins when you stop demanding justice from people who may never even understand the depth of the damage they caused. Invite me into your anger honestly instead of hiding it behind fake peace. Speak openly with me about what still hurts. I already know the memories that tighten your chest when they return unexpectedly. I know which disappointments still make tears rise quietly behind your eyes. Bring all of it to me without shame. And while you listen now, notice how unforgiveness has slowly affected your spirit. It made trust harder. It made your heart more guarded. It kept certain wounds emotionally alive long after the original moment passed. My child, you deserve freedom from that constant inner tension. You deserve peace that is not chained to old pain forever. Forgiveness may happen gradually, little by little, like sunlight slowly entering a dark room after a long winter night. Do not force yourself into fake emotional healing overnight. Just begin opening your heart to release the poison instead of protecting it. Let me help carry the pain you were never meant to drag through life forever. And remember this deeply. Your future deserves a version of you that is no longer emotionally imprisoned by what happened in your past. Let your heart become lighter again. Let peace slowly return where bitterness once lived. My child, as forgiveness begins loosening the chains that once poisoned your heart, I am also calling you to release generosity that brings freedom to others still trapped in darkness. There are wounded souls listening right now who feel buried beneath shame, bitterness, and silent suffering, and I am using these messages to open prison doors inside their hearts. Every super thanks, every membership, and every donation through the PayPal link in the description becomes a seed planted into holy ground, carrying my truth farther than you can currently see. I told you that whatever is sown in faith will produce a harvest in due season, and heaven never overlooks obedience born from compassion. Some of you have been asking me for restoration while holding tightly to fear, yet today I am inviting you to trust me through your giving. As you release what is in your hands, I will begin releasing peace, favor, and unexpected provision into areas where you have felt stuck. Do not ignore this moment of conviction. Sow into this mission now. Help spread my word, and let your generosity become part of someone else's healing story. My child, one of the quietest lies living inside your heart is the belief that you must somehow fix yourself completely before you are worthy of being deeply loved. You carry this pressure constantly, even if you rarely say it out loud. Part of you believes you need to become more disciplined, more successful, more emotionally stable, more spiritually strong before you can fully rest in my care. And because of that belief, you keep approaching your own life like a never-ending project that always feels unfinished. Come closer now, and stop running from me every time you feel flawed or weak. I already know every imperfect part of you. I know the thoughts you are ashamed of. I know the habits you struggle with privately. I know the emotional messiness you try so hard to hide from other people. Yet none of those things shocked me into abandoning you. None of them made me step away from your life. You have spent too much time treating love like something that must be earned through performance. Somewhere along your journey, you learned to connect acceptance with achievement. You felt valuable when you succeeded and unworthy when you struggled. That mindset followed you into your relationship with yourself, with others, and even with me. So now, whenever you fail or fall short, shame immediately rushes in telling you that you are difficult to love. But listen carefully to me now. My love for you is not balanced on a fragile scale that tips every time you make a mistake. I do not care for you only during your strongest moments. I do not move closer only when you perform well emotionally or spiritually. I stayed beside you during your confusion, during your weakness, during your silent battles, during the seasons when you barely recognized yourself. Stop exhausting yourself trying to appear perfect all the time. Perfection is a moving target that keeps stealing your peace. You keep raising impossible standards for yourself and then punishing your own heart for not reaching them. That cycle has drained your spirit for years. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let this truth settle deeply inside you. You are already loved while healing. You are already cared for while struggling. You are already worthy of gentleness while still growing. Growth matters, yes, but your value was never dependent on flawless performance. I want you to start speaking to yourself differently now. Stop calling yourself hopeless every time you stumble. Stop treating your failures like permanent identity labels. Learn to correct yourself without destroying yourself emotionally in the process. Grace is not weakness, my child. Grace is what allows healing to continue instead of collapsing under shame. Open your heart fully and let yourself receive love without constantly trying to prove you deserve it first. I am not waiting for a perfect version of you before drawing close. I am already here now, standing beside the real version of you, asking you to stop hiding behind impossible expectations and simply let yourself be loved. My child, there are memories you revisit quietly that still carry shame attached to them. Certain mistakes continue following you like shadows, even after years have passed. You replay old choices, old failures, old seasons of your life, and each time you do, you feel that familiar heaviness settle over your heart again. Part of you still believes those moments permanently damaged who you are. You may smile during the day and continue functioning normally, but deep inside, shame keeps whispering that if people truly knew everything about you, they would see you differently. Come closer to me now and stop hiding behind that fear. I already know every detail of your story, even the parts you struggled to forgive in yourself. I know the decisions you regret. I know the moments when you acted from fear, loneliness, desperation, confusion, or pain. I know the seasons when you felt spiritually distant and emotionally lost. Yet none of that changed the way I looked at you. Shame may keep replaying your worst moments like a broken record spinning endlessly in a dark room, but shame does not speak with my voice. Listen carefully now. There is a difference between conviction and condemnation. Conviction gently leads your heart toward healing and growth. Condemnation chains you to your past and tells you nothing good can come from your life anymore. Too often you have listened to condemnation so long that you started believing it was truth. You began treating yourself like someone permanently stained beyond restoration. But that is not how I see you. I see the person who survived things that almost broke them emotionally. I see the person who kept trying even after failure humbled them deeply. I see growth happening quietly inside you that you barely recognize yourself. You focus on the chapters where you stumbled, while I also see the chapters where you stood back up again. Your shame only points at the wreckage. I also see the rebuilding. Stop reopening old wounds just to punish yourself repeatedly. Stop carrying memories like chains wrapped around your spirit. Your past may explain certain pain, but it does not own your future forever. Some of the harshest words spoken against you now come from your own inner voice, and I need you to stop agreeing with every cruel thought shame places inside your mind. Bring those hidden regrets into the light with me instead of burying them deeper. Speak honestly with me about what still hurts your heart when you remember it. Healing begins when you stop hiding from grace. You cannot receive peace while constantly rehearsing self-hatred. And while you listen now, remember this carefully, my child. I do not reduce your entire identity to the worst thing you ever did or the hardest season you ever survived. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than your shame. Let yourself breathe again without constantly carrying the sentence of your past across every new day. I am not asking you to pretend your wounds never existed. I am asking you to stop worshiping them like they have the final word over your life. My child, there was a time when your heart felt lighter than it does now. Before disappointment settled so deeply into your spirit, you carried a softer kind of hope inside you. You trusted more easily. You dreamed more freely. You believed good things could happen without immediately preparing yourself for loss. But life wounded you in places you did not expect. Certain experiences slowly hardened your heart until caution replaced innocence and survival replaced wonder. I saw every moment that changed you. I watched you lose pieces of yourself little by little through heartbreak, pressure, betrayal, fear, exhaustion, and unanswered questions. Some seasons demanded so much emotional endurance from you that your spirit stopped feeling safe enough to stay open. You learned how to expect disappointment before happiness even arrived. You became guarded because pain taught you that vulnerability could hurt like fire spreading through dry fields during a brutal summer heat wave. And while those defenses protected you for a while, they also quietly distanced you from joy. Come sit with me honestly now, and let yourself remember who you were before fear became your constant companion. I am not asking you to become naive again. I am asking you to reconnect with the parts of yourself that pain buried too deeply. There is still tenderness alive inside you. There is still goodness inside your heart that hardship could not completely destroy. Life may have scarred you, but it did not erase your worth. You have spent so long adapting to emotional survival that you barely recognize how closed off your spirit has become. You hesitate before trusting. You pull away before becoming too emotionally attached. You silence excitement before hope grows too strong because part of you fears disappointment waiting around the corner again. I understand why your heart learned those patterns. But listen carefully now. Protecting yourself from pain is not the same thing as living fully. I want you to stop speaking about your future like disappointment is guaranteed. Stop expecting every good thing to disappear before it even has a chance to grow. Your wounded heart has been bracing for loss so constantly that peace struggles to reach you. Let your spirit unclench a little. Let yourself breathe without preparing for disaster every second. And while you listen now, remember something deeply important. The hopeful version of you is not gone forever. That person still exists beneath the exhaustion, beneath the fear, beneath the walls you built for protection. Healing is not about becoming someone entirely different. Sometimes healing is about rediscovering the parts of yourself that pain temporarily buried. Invite me into the places where your heart became hardened. Let me soften what life made tense inside you. You do not need to remain emotionally frozen just because you survived difficult seasons. There is still warmth ahead of you. There is still beauty your heart has not experienced yet. Stay close to me while hope slowly returns to the parts of your spirit that stopped believing good things could still happen for you. My child, I know there are moments when you look at yourself and wonder whether life changed you too much. You think about how hopeful you once were, how open your heart used to feel, and then you compare it to the tiredness you carry now. Certain experiences hardened parts of you. Certain disappointments left scars so deep that you barely recognize your own emotional world anymore. And quietly, without fully realizing it, you started fearing that pain may have permanently damaged the best parts of who you are. But come closer and listen to me carefully now. Pain changed some things inside you, yes, but it did not erase the goodness I placed within you. The fact that you still care deeply after everything you survived is proof of that. The fact that you still long for peace instead of becoming completely cold is proof of that. The fact that your heart still reacts emotionally when you see kindness, honesty, gentleness, or love means your spirit is still alive beneath the exhaustion. You have been too focused on your wounds to notice your resilience. You survived seasons that could have turned your heart bitter beyond repair, yet there are still soft places inside you. There are still moments when compassion rises naturally in you even after being hurt. There are still parts of you that want to trust again, love again, believe again. That matters more than you realize. Pain may have bruised your spirit, but it did not completely extinguish the light inside you. Stop speaking about yourself as though you are ruined beyond healing. Stop treating your emotional scars like proof that nothing beautiful remains in you. You are not empty just because you are tired. You are not broken beyond repair because life wounded you deeply. Sometimes healing begins quietly when you finally recognize that your heart still contains goodness worth protecting instead of constantly criticizing. Sit with me for a moment and let yourself remember the qualities inside you that pain could not steal. Your empathy, your sensitivity, your desire to care for others, your ability to survive difficult seasons without completely giving up, your willingness to keep going even when your strength felt thin as thread hanging in a storm. Those parts of you still matter deeply. And listen carefully now, my child. The enemy of your peace wants you to believe you are too damaged to experience joy again. That lie keeps you emotionally trapped inside hopelessness. But I see far beyond your exhaustion. I see potential still unfolding inside you. I see beauty still growing quietly beneath the surface of your life, like flowers preparing to bloom beneath frozen ground before spring finally arrives. Invite me into the places where your self-image became distorted by pain. Let me rebuild the way you see yourself. Stop measuring your worth only by your wounds. You are more than what happened to you. There is still light inside you that darkness could not fully overcome. Stay close to me while that light becomes stronger again. My child, the light inside you that pain could not destroy is the very same light I am using to reach other wounded hearts through this message. There are souls wandering in silent darkness tonight, praying for one word of hope, one reminder that I have not abandoned them, and your support helps carry this living bread to them before their faith collapses under the weight of despair. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not losing seed. You are planting oil into lamps that are about to burn brighter across nations. Did I not say, "Give, and it shall be given unto you"? Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I am breathing that promise over those who move when I stir their hearts. This is not merely support for a video. This is participation in a divine assignment to pull weary souls back from hopelessness and remind them that I still speak. I see every act of obedience done in secret, and I will multiply what is released from a willing heart with favor, protection, provision, and peace that reaches beyond money itself. So do not ignore this moment if you feel my spirit tugging at you now. So immediately through Super Thanks, become a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and help my voice reach the ones who are waiting for this message tonight. My child, there have been moments when discouragement settled over your heart so heavily that you quietly wondered whether your life was still moving toward anything meaningful at all. You looked at unfinished dreams, delayed answers, broken relationships, emotional exhaustion, and uncertain direction, and part of you began asking questions you rarely speak out loud. You wondered whether your efforts mattered. You wondered whether your future would always feel this unclear. Some days you felt like you were simply existing instead of truly living with purpose. I heard every one of those thoughts. I know there were seasons when disappointment made your future look smaller in your own eyes. You started lowering your expectations because hope felt dangerous after so many setbacks. You told yourself not to expect too much anymore because you were tired of carrying excitement that later turned into heartbreak. Slowly, your vision for your life became clouded by fear, exhaustion, and emotional weariness. But listen carefully to me now. Your story is not ending in this season of confusion. Come sit with me honestly and stop speaking over your future with hopelessness. You cannot fully see what is still unfolding ahead of you. Right now, you are judging your entire life based on one difficult chapter. You are standing in the middle of unfinished pages trying to decide the ending before the story has even reached its turning point. I need you to stop assuming that uncertainty means failure. There are parts of your purpose still developing quietly beneath the surface of your life. Some growth happened inside you during painful seasons that comfort never could have produced. Your compassion deepened through suffering. Your wisdom sharpened through disappointment. Your strength grew through surviving things that once seemed impossible. Even now, while you question your direction, I am still shaping parts of your character that will matter deeply later. I want you to release the belief that meaning only exists in visible success. Some of the most important work happening in your life right now is invisible growth inside your spirit. You keep overlooking that because you are comparing yourself to external achievements around you. Stop doing that. Your life cannot be measured only by accomplishments, timelines, or outward appearances. And while you listen now, pay attention to this carefully. The fact that your heart still longs for meaning is evidence that purpose is still alive inside you. And things stop searching. Your soul keeps reaching because deep down you know there is more ahead for you than endless survival and emotional exhaustion. Invite me into your uncertainty instead of hiding inside fear about the future. Speak honestly with me about the dreams you buried because disappointment made them painful to carry. Let me breathe hope back into the places where discouragement settled too deeply. Your life is not random. Your pain is not pointless. Your story is not forgotten in heaven. Stay close to me while the next chapter unfolds. There are still moments ahead of you that will make sense of things you cannot understand yet. Do not walk away from hope now simply because the road has felt long. I am still writing your story, my child, and I have not reached the ending yet. My child, there are wounds inside you that form so gradually that you barely noticed how deeply they affected your spirit. Some damage did not happen through one dramatic moment. It happened slowly through repeated disappointment, repeated stress, repeated emotional neglect, repeated seasons where you felt unseen while trying to stay strong for everyone around you. Little by little, parts of your confidence weakened. Parts of your trust became fragile. Parts of your heart grew tired from carrying pain without enough healing. And yet, even while you thought you were falling apart completely, I was already working quietly beneath the surface of your life. You kept looking for sudden transformation while I was rebuilding you carefully in hidden places. Some healing began through lessons you did not immediately understand. Some growth started during lonely seasons you wanted desperately to escape. Even your delays, your pauses, your disappointments carried opportunities for restoration that you could not fully recognize at the time. I know you often felt frustrated because progress seemed invisible. But healing is not always loud, my child. Sometimes it happens quietly, like roots growing deep underground long before flowers ever appear above the surface. Come sit with me honestly now and stop calling yourself permanently broken. You have focused so much on what hurt you that you have overlooked the rebuilding already happening inside your spirit. You are more emotionally aware now than you once were. You recognize unhealthy patterns more quickly. You value peace differently than before. You have become more compassionate toward pain because suffering deepened your understanding of other people's hidden battles. Those changes matter deeply, even if they developed slowly. I want you to stop rushing your healing process out of frustration. Some parts of your heart required time because quick solutions would not have reached the deeper wounds living underneath your surface struggles. You tried distracting yourself from pain for years, but now I am teaching you how to heal honestly instead of simply avoiding discomfort. Open your heart fully and let me continue rebuilding what life damaged inside you. Stop resisting softness because you fear becoming vulnerable again. Stop believing emotional numbness is strength. There are parts of your spirit I want to restore gently, not forcefully. Trust the process even when it feels slower than you hoped. And while you listen now, pay attention to the quiet changes already happening inside you. You are not reacting exactly the way you once did. You are becoming more aware of what drains your peace. You are beginning to desire deeper healing instead of temporary escape. That is not weakness. That is restoration beginning to take root. Do not lose hope simply because your transformation feels gradual. Mountains are shaped slowly through years of unseen movement beneath the earth. Rivers carve stone through patient persistence over time. In the same way, I have been reshaping parts of your heart carefully, even during seasons when you thought nothing meaningful was happening at all. Stay close to me while the rebuilding continues. Your healing is further along than you realize. My child, I know how frustrating uncertainty has been for you. There are situations in your life right now that feel tangled, unfinished, and emotionally exhausting because you cannot clearly see where things are leading. You keep trying to understand why certain prayers remain unanswered, why certain doors closed unexpectedly, why some relationships change so suddenly, why your path feels less clear than you hope it would by now. Your mind searches constantly for explanations because confusion makes your heart feel unsafe. Come closer to me for a moment and release the pressure to understand everything immediately. You are trying to read entire chapters while still standing inside unfinished paragraphs. Right now, your perspective is limited to what you can currently see, and that limited view has made some moments feel painfully confusing. But confusion is not always evidence that your life is falling apart. Sometimes it simply means the full picture is not unfolded yet. I know uncertainty can feel uncomfortable. Human hearts naturally want clarity, timelines, guarantees, and predictable outcomes. You want reassurance that your waiting will eventually mean something. You want proof that your pain is not random. You want confirmation that your future still contains beauty after everything you have survived. And while I understand those desires completely, I need you to trust me enough to keep walking even when every answer has not arrived yet. Look back carefully at your own life for a moment. There were seasons that once made no sense to you at all. You questioned delays. You mourned endings. You resisted changes you did not want. Yet later, understanding slowly arrived. Certain disappointments protected you. Certain losses redirected you. Certain painful seasons strengthened parts of your character that comfort never could have reached. What once looked meaningless eventually revealed hidden purpose over time. I want you to stop demanding immediate clarity from every difficult moment. Some understanding only comes through distance and growth. Some answers require maturity before they can fully make sense inside your spirit. Right now, you may only see scattered puzzle pieces lying across the floor of your life. But I already see the complete picture they are forming together. So breathe deeply now and loosen your grip on constant overthinking. Stop exhausting yourself trying to force certainty out of situations still unfolding. Invite me into your confusion instead of battling it alone. Speak honestly with me when fear rises. Sit quietly with me even when answers feel delayed. Trust grows strongest in seasons where understanding feels incomplete. And listen carefully to this, my child. Just because you cannot explain your current season does not mean your life has lost direction. The traveler walking through thick fog still moves forward even when the road ahead looks unclear. In the same way, I am still guiding your steps even during moments when visibility feels low. Do not let confusion convince you to abandon hope. Stay patient. Stay close to me. One day you will look back at certain moments that currently frustrate or hurt you, and understanding will arrive quietly like sunrise breaking across a dark horizon after a long night. My child, I know there are days when it still feels like you are carrying the same pain you have battled for years. Because of that, you sometimes assume nothing inside you is truly changing. You focus on the moments when sadness returns, when anxiety rises again, when old memories still hurt, and you quietly conclude that healing must be far away from you. But I need you to pause and look more carefully at yourself now. You are not the same person you were when this pain first entered your life. Healing has already been happening in ways you have overlooked. There were times in the past when certain wounds completely controlled your emotions. Yet now you recover from those moments differently. You notice unhealthy patterns more quickly. You recognize when something disturbs your peace instead of ignoring it for months. You have started protecting your emotional well-being in ways you never used to. Even your desire for deeper healing is evidence that your spirit is waking up instead of remaining trapped in numbness. Come closer and stop measuring your healing only by whether pain still exists sometimes. Healing does not mean every difficult emotion disappears forever. Healing often means your wounds no longer own your entire identity. It means your heart slowly learns how to breathe again even while certain scars still remain. You have expected transformation to happen instantly, but deep emotional restoration rarely unfolds that way. It usually grows quietly through small moments, honest conversations, difficult realizations, healthier boundaries, and gradual trust returning little by little. I want you to stop speaking hopelessly over your progress. Stop telling yourself that you are stuck simply because your healing feels incomplete. A tree growing after a brutal winter does not bloom overnight. Yet beneath the surface, life is already returning long before anyone sees leaves appear on the branches. In the same way, your spirit has been recovering in hidden places even during seasons when you felt emotionally exhausted. And listen carefully now, my child. Some of the strongest evidence of healing is the fact that your heart still wants peace instead of surrendering fully to despair. You are still searching. You are still listening. You are still trying. That matters deeply. Completely broken people stop reaching entirely. Your soul is still reaching because hope is still alive inside you, even if it feels fragile sometimes. So breathe slowly and stop criticizing yourself for not healing faster. Invite me into the process instead of trying to force yourself into perfection. Speak gently to yourself during difficult days. Rest when your spirit feels overwhelmed. Let yourself receive comfort without guilt attached to it. You are closer to freedom than your fear wants you to believe. There are parts of your heart already becoming lighter, stronger, softer, wiser. Stay patient with yourself while healing continues unfolding. I am not disappointed by your pace. I am walking beside you through every step of it. Let your soul rest in the truth for a while. My child, just as healing has been unfolding quietly inside you, I am also healing other broken hearts through every message sent across this channel. There are people one step away from giving up completely, yet I am using these words like rivers in dry places to restore hope where despair tried to take root. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become part of the harvest I am gathering from wounded places all over the earth. Every gift becomes seed in my hands, and seed surrendered to me never returns empty. Did I not say those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed? I'm speaking that promise directly over every faithful giver who chooses obedience over hesitation. Your generosity helps carry light into homes filled with anxiety, loneliness, fear, and silent suffering, and heaven sees every sacrifice made to keep my word moving forward. Do not call this coincidence. This moment is a divine invitation arranged before you even pressed play on this video. So act now with faith and urgency. Send your super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and help healing continue reaching the hearts crying out for me tonight. My child, I know how exhausting waiting has become for you. There are prayers you whispered long ago that still seem unanswered. There are situations you hoped would improve by now, yet they continue stretching across your life like long roads disappearing into distant fog. You have waited for healing, waited for clarity, waited for peace, waited for relationships to improve, waited for opportunities to open, waited for relief from emotional heaviness that sometimes feels endless. And quietly, beneath all that waiting, discouragement has tried settling into your heart. I understand why your spirit feels weary. Waiting can make even strong hearts question themselves after enough time passes. You start wondering whether anything will actually change, or whether this difficult season is simply going to become your permanent reality. Some days hope itself begins feeling heavy because carrying expectation for too long without visible movement becomes emotionally exhausting. I saw every moment when disappointment tempted you to stop believing good things could still happen for you. Come sit with me honestly now and release the frustration you keep hiding behind forced patience. I already know how difficult this season has felt. You do not need to pretend you are handling it perfectly. Speak openly with me about the sadness, the confusion, the anger, the exhaustion. Stop carrying silent disappointment like it will somehow disappear on its own if you ignore it long enough. But listen carefully now, my child. Waiting is not always punishment. Sometimes waiting is preparation. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes your heart is still becoming ready for what you have been asking to receive. There are situations where immediate answers would have satisfied your emotions temporarily but harmed your future deeply later. I know it is difficult to trust timing when your heart aches for movement now, but I need you to believe that delays are not always denials. Look back over your life carefully for a moment. There were things you once desperately wanted that later proved unhealthy for your peace. There were seasons where closed doors eventually protected you from deeper pain. At the time, waiting felt unbearable. Yet later understanding arrived quietly. In the same way, there are things unfolding right now beneath the surface that you cannot fully see yet. I want you to stop treating your current season like proof that your life has stopped moving forward. Growth is still happening inside you while you wait. Strength is developing. Wisdom is developing. Emotional healing is developing. Patience is deepening in ways that will matter greatly later. So do not abandon hope simply because the road feels longer than expected. Stay close to me while the waiting continues. Invite me into the uncertainty instead of isolating yourself emotionally inside frustration. Let your spirit rest instead of constantly demanding immediate answers from the future. And remember this carefully. Seeds buried beneath soil often look lifeless before growth finally breaks through the surface. Yet hidden movement is already happening long before visible change appears. In the same way, your story is still unfolding even when progress feels invisible. Hold on a little longer, my child. Change is closer than you realize. My child, I know there are names connected to your pain that still echo quietly in your heart. Some people left your life in ways you never expected. Some drifted away slowly until the distance between you became impossible to ignore. Others disappeared suddenly, leaving confusion behind like shattered glass scattered across the floor of your emotions. You spent so much time trying to understand why certain people changed toward you. You replayed conversations, questioned yourself, searched for hidden reasons, and wondered whether you could have done something differently to make them stay. Come closer now and release the burden of trying to force permanent meaning out of every goodbye. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to remain there forever. Some people were connected to a specific chapter, not your entire story. Yet because your heart values connection deeply, you mourn those endings as though losing them meant losing part of yourself too. I understand how painful abandonment can feel. Human hearts naturally attach themselves to familiarity, memories, routines, and emotional bonds. When someone leaves, it can feel like watching a piece of your world collapse unexpectedly, almost like standing in a house after a storm ripped through it during the night, leaving silence where warmth once lived. But listen carefully to me now. Some departures protected your future even when they broke your heart in the present moment. There were people you wanted to keep close who could not continue growing beside the person you are becoming. Some relationships carried patterns that would have slowly drained your peace over time. Some people only understood the version of you connected to old seasons, old pain, old survival patterns. As healing began changing you internally, certain connections naturally weakened because they no longer align with where your life is heading. Stop chasing people who repeatedly show you they do not value your heart the way you deserve. Stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth to those determined to misunderstand you. You cannot force someone to stay emotionally present if they have already disconnected internally. And my child, Constantly chasing unavailable people only deepens your wounds. Invite me into your grief instead of hiding it behind anger or numbness. Speak honestly with me about the loneliness certain endings created. Let yourself mourn what mattered to you without allowing grief to convince you that your future is empty now. Endings hurt because your heart cared sincerely. There is no shame in that. But hear this deeply. A closed chapter is not the end of your entire story. There are still people ahead of you who will value your honesty, your gentleness, your growth, your heart. Do not let old losses convince you that meaningful connection is no longer possible. Some departures made space for healthy relationships to eventually enter your life. To stop standing at locked doors hoping they will reopen. Turn toward the future instead. Stay close to me while your heart heals from what it lost. I will guide you toward connections that bring peace instead of constant emotional confusion. Trust me enough to let go of what can no longer grow with you. My child, one of the quietest battles inside your life has been the way you speak to yourself when nobody else is listening. There are thoughts you allow into your mind about your worth, your future, your appearance, your mistakes, your abilities. And over time those thoughts have shaped the way you see yourself more deeply than you realize. You became so accustomed to criticizing yourself that harshness started feeling normal. You often notice your flaws before your strengths. You replay your failures more than your growth. You expect disappointment from yourself before giving yourself room to succeed. Come sit with me honestly now and listen carefully. The constant criticism living inside your mind has exhausted your spirit. You speak to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you deeply love. Every mistake becomes proof that you are failing. Every weakness becomes evidence against your value. Every difficult season becomes another reason to doubt yourself. My child, that inner voice has wounded you more than you admit. I know some of those beliefs form through painful experiences. Certain people spoke words over your life that settled deeply into your heart. Rejection shaped your self-image. Disappointment shaped your confidence. Comparison distorted the way you measured your worth. Slowly, without fully noticing it, you began building your identity around wounds instead of truth. You started assuming that because you struggled, you must somehow be less valuable than others around you. But listen carefully now. Your pain is not your identity. Your flaws are not your full story. You are not defined only by your worst moments or weakest seasons. I see qualities inside you that you regularly overlook. I see resilience where you see exhaustion. I see compassion where you see emotional sensitivity. I see perseverance where you see slow progress. You survived seasons that would have broken many people completely, yet you are still here searching for healing instead of surrendering fully to bitterness. I want you to stop agreeing with every cruel thought that enters your mind. Not every thought deserves your trust simply because it feels emotionally familiar. Some of the harshest judgments you carry against yourself are rooted in fear, shame, and old wounds rather than truth. Stop feeding those voices constantly. Speak to yourself with more mercy. Give yourself room to grow without demanding perfection every step of the way. Let your heart breathe without placing impossible expectations on your shoulders every day. You are still learning. You are still healing. You are still becoming. And while you listen now, remember this deeply, my child. I never created you to live trapped inside self-hatred. I want your heart free from the constant weight of believing you are never enough. Invite me into the way you see yourself. Let me reshape your inner voice slowly over time. You do not need to spend the rest of your life fighting against your own reflection emotionally. There is goodness inside you that deserves gentleness, patience, and healing too. Let yourself finally receive that instead of constantly standing against yourself like an enemy. My child, I know there are nights when the future feels heavy in your mind. You look ahead and struggle to imagine things becoming better than they are now. Your thoughts drift toward fear so easily because disappointment has visited your life often enough to make hope feel fragile. Some days you quietly expect things to go wrong before they even happen. You prepare yourself emotionally for loss, delay, rejection, or failure because part of your heart believes pain is more reliable than peace. But come closer to me now and listen carefully. The future you are afraid of has not been written entirely by your fear. Right now, exhaustion is shaping the way you see tomorrow. Pain has narrowed your vision until everything ahead feels darker than it truly is. You are trying to predict your entire life through the lens of your current emotional fatigue, and that will always make the road ahead appear hopeless. I know uncertainty unsettles you. Human hearts naturally search for stability, reassurance, and clear direction. Yet your mind keeps trying to solve years of future problems all at once, and that pressure is crushing your peace. Stop doing that to yourself. You were never designed to carry tomorrow's burdens before tomorrow even arrives. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let your breathing slow down. Release the constant pressure to figure out your entire future immediately. There are things unfolding right now that you cannot fully see yet. Opportunities are developing. Healing is developing. Connections are developing. Even your current struggles are shaping wisdom and strength inside you that will matter later in ways you do not yet understand. Look back carefully over your life. There were seasons you once believed would completely destroy you emotionally. Yet somehow you survived them. There were moments when your future looked impossible, yet you still reached another sunrise. I carried you through more storms than you realize, even during the times when you felt emotionally abandoned. And listen carefully now, my child. Fear is a poor prophet. It constantly predicts disaster, while ignoring possibility. It tells you your life will always feel this heavy. It tells you joy is temporary and pain is permanent. But fear does not see what I see. I see roads ahead of you that still contain beauty. I see peace waiting beyond certain battle. I see restoration quietly approaching areas of your life that currently feel hopeless. Stop speaking over your future like darkness has already won. Open your heart to the possibility that your best days may still be ahead of you. Invite me into the uncertainty instead of facing it alone. Speak honestly with me about the fears that wake you at night. Let me steady your thoughts instead of allowing anxiety to narrate your future endlessly. Your story is still moving forward. Your life is not trapped forever inside this current emotional season. There are moments ahead that will surprise you with joy again. There are answers coming that will soften some of today's confusion. Hold on to hope a little longer. Stay close to me while the road unfolds. The future is not as empty as your exhaustion has convinced you to believe tonight. My child, the future is not as hopeless as fear has whispered to you, and neither is the future of the countless souls I am calling back to me through this message. Right now, even while darkness tries to spread confusion across the earth, I am still lighting fires of hope in hidden places, and your support helps keep that holy fire burning for those who feel forgotten. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping send my voice into moments where people are lying awake at night battling fear, anxiety, and thoughts of surrender. This is kingdom work, and every seed released into my purpose becomes part of a harvest larger than your eyes can presently see. Did I not promise that those who sow beside the waters will reap in due season? I am already preparing blessings, open doors, unexpected provision, and divine protection for those who respond when I place compassion on their hearts. The enemy wants people to believe hope is dying, but through your obedience, rivers of encouragement continue flowing into dry and weary souls across the world. So do not delay what I am asking you to do. Give now through Super Thanks. Become a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, and help carry this message to the hearts that desperately need to hear my voice before the night grows heavier. My child, too much of your self-worth has been shaped by the way other people responded to you. You carry memories of rejection, neglect, criticism, betrayal, abandonment, and disappointment like mirrors reflecting back distorted versions of yourself. When someone failed to value you correctly, you quietly started wondering whether you were truly valuable at all. When people walked away, you questioned your worth. When you were misunderstood, overlooked, or mistreated, part of your heart absorbed those experiences as personal definitions instead of painful experiences. Come closer now and stop building your identity on the unstable opinions and actions of wounded human beings. People often treat others based on their own fears, limitations, emotional immaturity, and unresolved pain. Yet you have spent years turning other people's behavior into evidence against yourself. You replay moments where you were not chosen, not appreciated, not loved correctly, and you let those moments decide how you see your own reflection. I need you to hear this deeply. The way someone treated you is not a final measurement of your worth. Some people lacked the emotional depth to recognize your value. Some were too consumed with their own struggles to care for your heart properly. Some projected their pain onto you unfairly. Yet because your heart longed for acceptance, you kept trying harder and harder to earn love from people who were never emotionally capable of giving it consistently. Stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your value to people determined to misunderstand you. Stop shrinking parts of yourself hoping others will finally choose you. Stop believing rejection automatically means you are unworthy. My child, flowers do not lose their beauty simply because someone walks past them without noticing their fragrance. In the same way, your value does not disappear because certain people failed to recognize it. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let this truth settle deeper into your spirit. You were never created to live emotionally dependent on constant validation from others. Human approval changes constantly. Some people praise you one season and criticize you the next. If your identity depends entirely on external acceptance, your peace will always remain fragile. I want you to begin seeing yourself through gentler eyes. Speak to yourself differently. Stop introducing yourself internally through your wounds and failures first. You are more than the relationships that hurt you. You are more than the rejection you survived. You are more than the criticism you carried for years. Invite me into the places where your self-worth became tangled with other people's opinions. Let me untangle those lies slowly. I want your heart free from the exhausting need to constantly earn belonging. You already matter deeply. You already carry value that cannot be erased by rejection, betrayal, or misunderstanding. And while you listen now, remember this carefully, my child. The people who failed to love you correctly were never given authority to define your identity forever. Stop handing them power they were never meant to hold over your spirit. Let your heart finally rest in something steadier than human approval. My child, there is grief inside you that you never fully explained to anyone. Some pain remained trapped behind silence because you did not know how to put it into words without feeling overwhelmed all over again. Certain losses changed you deeply, yet life kept moving around you so quickly that you barely had space to process what your heart was truly carrying. You learned how to continue functioning while quietly grieving parts of your life that never returned to the way they once were. I saw every hidden tear you swallowed back. I saw the moments when memories surfaced unexpectedly and sadness settled into your chest without warning. Some grief came from losing people. Some came from losing versions of yourself. Some came from dreams that slowly faded away while you tried convincing yourself you were fine. And because much of your grief was invisible to others, you often felt alone inside it. Come sit with me honestly now and stop treating your grief like weakness. Your heart has been carrying emotional weight for a long time. You do not need to apologize for feeling deeply. Some wounds leave echoes that stay longer than expected. Human beings are not machines that instantly recover from loss without emotional consequence. Yet you kept pressuring yourself to move on quickly because you feared becoming stuck in sadness. I understand why certain memories still affect you. There are places, songs, conversations, dates, and quiet moments that still stir emotions you thought had already faded. Grief moves in unexpected ways sometimes. It can arrive quietly years later through one small reminder, like rain suddenly returning after months of dry skies. That does not mean you are failing to heal. It means your heart remembers what mattered deeply. But listen carefully now, my child. I do not want grief to become the permanent home your spirit lives inside forever. Mourn honestly, yes. Feel what needs to be felt. Speak openly with me about what still hurts. But do not chain yourself emotionally to what can no longer be changed. Some of your healing depends on allowing yourself to carry memories without letting them consume your future entirely. Bring your grief to me instead of carrying it silently until it hardens into hopelessness. Sit quietly with me when sadness rises unexpectedly. Stop criticizing yourself for still hurting over certain things. Healing is not measured by how quickly you stop feeling pain. Sometimes healing simply means the wound no longer controls your entire life. And while you listen now, remember this carefully. The love connected to your grief mattered because your heart was created to care deeply. Do not become ashamed of your tenderness simply because loss wounded you. Your ability to feel deeply is not a flaw. It is part of what makes your spirit human, compassionate, and alive. Stay close to me while your heart continues healing from what it lost. I will not rush your process. I will not abandon you inside your sadness. Let your spirit rest here for a while instead of carrying grief alone in silence. My child, there were moments when you almost gave up completely. Moments when exhaustion sat so heavily on your heart that continuing forward felt meaningless. You questioned whether all your struggle, all your waiting, all your emotional battles were leading anywhere at all. Some days you looked at your life and quietly wondered if this emptiness was all you could expect from the future. I know how discouragement has whispered to you during those seasons. I know how temptation told you to stop hoping because disappointment felt more familiar than joy. But come closer now and hear me clearly. I did not carry you through every painful season only to abandon you in the middle of your story. I did not sustain your spirit through sleepless nights, heartbreak, confusion, fear, and exhaustion just to leave your life empty in the end. There is still purpose unfolding inside your journey, even if your current emotions struggle to recognize it right now. Look back carefully for a moment. You survived things that once seemed impossible. There were storms that nearly crushed your spirit, yet somehow you kept breathing, kept moving, kept searching for meaning even while your strength felt thin. That was not accidental. I stayed beside you through every difficult chapter, even when you felt emotionally numb and spiritually distant. I know there are areas of your life that still feel unfinished. Some prayers remain unanswered. Some wounds still ache. Some dreams still feel far away. But unfinished does not mean forgotten. Delayed does not mean abandoned. You are interpreting temporary emptiness as permanent destiny, and I need you to stop believing that lie. Sit quietly with me for a moment and release the hopelessness you have been carrying. Stop assuming your future will always feel this heavy. Your current season is not the final definition of your entire life. There are still moments ahead that will restore parts of your heart you thought were gone forever. There are still experiences ahead that will remind you why surviving mattered. And listen carefully now, my child. Some of the emptiness you feel right now is not punishment. It is space being cleared inside your life. Certain unhealthy attachments had to loosen. Certain distractions had to fade. Certain illusions had to break apart before deeper healing and clearer purpose could fully grow. Empty fields often look lifeless before new growth begins after a long winter season. In the same way, your spirit is standing in a transition season, not a final ending. Invite me into the emptiness instead of trying to escape it constantly. Sit with me there honestly. Let me teach your heart how to hope again without fear controlling every expectation. Stop speaking over your future like beauty can no longer reach your life. I am still working in places you cannot fully see yet. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. And your story is not ending in emptiness. Stay close to me while the next chapter begins unfolding. My child, I know there were seasons when sadness stayed with you so long that you began forgetting what genuine joy even felt like. Life became heavy in ways that slowly drained your excitement for the future. You stopped looking forward to things the way you once did because disappointment taught your heart to stay cautious. Even when good moments appeared, part of you struggled to fully enjoy them because fear kept whispering that happiness never lasts for long. But come closer now and listen carefully to me. Your life is not finished producing beauty simply because you walk through painful seasons. You have quietly convinced yourself that deep joy belongs mostly to other people now, while your own future will always carry this same emotional weight. That belief has settled into your spirit like fog covering a landscape before sunrise, making everything ahead appear dimmer than it truly is. I need you to stop assuming that your hardest seasons are the final definition of your story. There are moments ahead of you that your current pain cannot yet imagine clearly. There are conversations that will warm your heart again. There are unexpected answers approaching. There are peaceful mornings waiting for you after nights that once felt endless. There are people you have not even met yet who will bring comfort, laughter, understanding, and genuine care into your life. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let your heart breathe without constantly preparing for disappointment. You have spent so much time surviving that joy started feeling unfamiliar to you. Your nervous system became trained for stress, caution, and emotional defense. But I never created your spirit to live permanently trapped inside heaviness. And listen carefully now, my child. Joy does not always arrive loudly through dramatic moments. Sometimes it enters gently, like sunlight slowly filling a room after curtains are opened in the morning. Sometimes joy returns through simple things you almost overlooked: peaceful conversations, quiet healing, genuine connection, inner calm, renewed hope, small answered prayers, laughter that surprises you after long periods of emotional exhaustion. I want you to stop rejecting joy before it even reaches you. Stop assuming every good thing will disappear immediately. Stop standing at the doorway of happiness while fear convinces you not to step fully inside. Open your heart again slowly. Let yourself experience beautiful moments without immediately bracing for loss. Invite me into your future expectations instead of allowing fear to shape them completely. Speak life over your tomorrow instead of constantly predicting emptiness. Your current sadness is not permanent, even if it feels deeply rooted right now. And remember this carefully. Trees that survive harsh winters still bloom again when the season changes. In the same way, your spirit still carries the ability to experience peace, joy, wonder, and warmth again after everything you survive. Stay close to me while your heart relearns how to receive beautiful things without fear controlling every emotion. There is more ahead for you than survival alone. Joy is still searching for your life, my child. My child, the joy I promised is not only for you. There are countless weary souls waiting to rediscover hope through the words I am releasing in this very moment. Many have forgotten how to smile without fear, how to rest without anxiety, how to believe tomorrow could still contain beauty, and I am using this channel to awaken sleeping hearts back to life. Every time you support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you help pour fresh oil into this assignment so my word can continue reaching those trapped in silent emotional battles. Your giving becomes like loaves and fishes in my hands, small in appearance perhaps, yet multiplied to feed multitudes spiritually starving for peace. Did I not say that whoever waters others will themselves be watered? I am declaring overflow, protection, favor, and unexpected joy over those who choose to partner with me in spreading this message. This is not simply generosity. This is obedience connected to souls, healing, and eternal impact far beyond what your eyes can currently measure. So if my spirit is stirring your heart right now, respond without hesitation. Send your super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and help bring my light to someone who feels lost in darkness tonight. My child, there have been moments when you felt unseen by almost everyone around you. You carried burdens quietly while people assumed you were fine. You showed up for others while secretly wondering who would notice if you disappeared emotionally inside yourself. Some days it felt like your efforts, your kindness, your pain, and your existence itself blended into the background unnoticed. That feeling of invisibility has weighed heavily on your heart more than you admit aloud. I saw every one of those moments. I saw the times you stayed strong for people while privately feeling exhausted. I saw the moments when you hoped someone would ask how you were really doing, not just out of politeness but with genuine care. I know how loneliness grows when your inner world feels ignored by the people around you. Human hearts were never designed to thrive completely unseen for long periods of time. Come closer now and stop believing the lie that your life is insignificant. Just because certain people overlooked your heart does not mean heaven overlooked it too. I have watched every hidden battle you fought quietly. I noticed the kindness you offered while hurting yourself. I noticed the moments when you chose not to give up even while emotionally drained. I noticed the prayers whispered weakly through exhaustion. Nothing connected to your life has been invisible to me. Listen carefully now, my child. You do not need massive recognition from the world to possess deep value. Some of the most meaningful things about your life happen quietly where human applause never reaches. Your compassion matters. Your perseverance matters. Your growth matters. Your existence carries purpose beyond what temporary human attention could ever fully measure. I know part of your pain comes from wanting to feel chosen, valued, remembered, important. That desire is deeply human. But do not place your entire sense of worth inside the unstable hands of human recognition. People become distracted. People fail to notice things they should. People overlook hearts carrying silent pain every day. Yet none of that changes the way I see you. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let this truth settle deeply inside your spirit. You are fully known here, fully seen, fully remembered. I know your fears before you speak them. I know your hidden tears before they fall. I know the private exhaustion behind your public smile. Nothing about your life disappears from my awareness. And while you listen now, release the pressure to constantly prove your value through performance, productivity, or people-pleasing. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to earn visibility from everyone around you. Rest your heart here instead. Let yourself be loved without striving every second for validation. You are not forgotten, my child. Not in your lonely seasons. Not in your confused seasons. Not in your exhausted seasons. Heaven has never lost sight of you, even during the moments when earth made you feel invisible. Stay close to me and let that truth become stronger than the loneliness you have been carrying for so long. My child, I know trust does not come easily to your heart anymore. Too many disappointments taught you to stay emotionally guarded. Too many unanswered questions left you uncertain about whether opening your heart fully was safe. Some experiences wounded you so deeply that now even hope feels risky sometimes. You learned how to survive by expecting less, by preparing for disappointment before it arrived, by holding parts of yourself back so pain would not cut as deeply if things fell apart again. I understand why your heart became cautious. There were moments when you prayed sincerely and still watched things unravel in ways you did not expect. There were seasons when silence surrounded your questions and confusion settled heavily over your spirit. Some losses felt personal. Some delays felt painful. Some endings left scars that made trusting anyone, even me, feel complicated afterward. You may not always say that out loud, but I know the hidden hesitation living inside your heart. Come closer now and stop carrying that fear alone. I am not offended by your struggle to trust. I understand wounded hearts. I understand what disappointment does to the human spirit. But listen carefully to me now. I do not want fear to become the permanent ruler of your life. Fear will keep you emotionally locked behind walls so high that even peace struggles to reach you. Trust does not mean pretending your pain never happened. Trust means slowly allowing your heart to believe that healing is still possible after disappointment. It means choosing not to let old wounds control every future decision. Right now, your spirit keeps standing at the edge of hope while fear pulls you backward, warning you not to expect too much again. But my child, if you never allow yourself to trust again, you will remain trapped inside emotional survival forever. I want more for your life than constant defense and endless caution. I want your heart to experience rest, connection, peace, and hope without fear poisoning every expectation. Sit quietly with me for a moment and breathe slowly. You do not need to force perfect trust overnight. Just begin opening your heart little by little. Speak honestly with me about where your fears still live. Invite me into the places where disappointment hardened your spirit. Stop pretending those wounds no longer affect you. Healing grows through honesty, not performance. And remember this carefully. I have remained faithful to you even during seasons when your faith felt weak. I stayed beside you while you questioned, doubted, feared, and struggled silently. I never abandoned your life simply because your heart became tired. The same hands that carried you through your darkest nights are still holding your future now. So loosen your grip on fear a little more today. Let your guarded heart rest for a moment. Trust does not have to feel loud or dramatic. Sometimes it begins quietly, like a trembling hand slowly reaching toward light after sitting too long in darkness. Stay close to me while trust rebuilds itself inside your spirit again. My child, there is a reason these words reached you at this exact moment in your life. Out of all the noise surrounding you every day, something inside your spirit paused here intentionally. You may have thought this was random at first, but deep down your heart recognized something familiar in these words before your mind fully understood why. Part of you had been longing for reassurance, longing for truth, longing for comfort that reaches deeper than surface-level distraction. I know there are truths your heart has been resisting for a long time. You kept trying to stay busy so you would not have to sit quietly with certain emotions. You distracted yourself from exhaustion instead of addressing it honestly. You carried pain privately while convincing yourself that surviving was enough. Yet beneath all that noise, your spirit kept searching for something real enough to steady you again. Come closer now and stop running from the deeper conversations your soul has been trying to have with you. You already know some things in your life need healing. You already know certain habits, fears, and emotional patterns have been draining your peace for far too long. Part of your exhaustion comes from fighting truths that your heart quietly recognizes already. Listen carefully now, my child. Your spirit is tired of living disconnected from peace. You have spent so long adapting to emotional survival that genuine rest almost feels unfamiliar. But your soul was never created to live permanently weighed down by fear, shame, bitterness, anxiety, and hopelessness. That is why these words feel personal to you right now. Your spirit is reaching toward healing even while your wounded emotions still hesitate. I want you to stop ignoring what your heart already knows. Stop pretending certain wounds no longer affect you. Stop delaying the healing conversations you need to have with yourself and with me. Open your life honestly before me without trying to hide behind strength or distraction anymore. I already know where you hurt. I already know where fear controls your thinking. Let me into those places fully now. And while you listen carefully, notice how your spirit reacts to truth. There is something inside you that wants peace more than endless emotional survival. There is something inside you growing tired of carrying pain alone. That longing matters deeply. It means your heart has not given up completely. Invite me deeper into your life starting now. Speak honestly with me instead of only reaching out during emergencies. Let these words settle beyond temporary emotion and become something lasting inside your spirit. This moment is not accidental. Your heart was meant to hear this before another season of exhaustion pulled you further away from healing. You are standing at a turning point emotionally, even if it feels quiet right now. Do not ignore what your spirit recognizes here. Stay close to me and let this moment become the beginning of deeper peace instead of another passing distraction. My child, you have spent so many years carrying emotional weight that you almost forgot what it feels like to move through life without constant heaviness pressing against your spirit. Stress became familiar. Fear became familiar. Exhaustion became familiar. You learned how to survive while carrying burdens quietly inside you, and after a while you stopped expecting things to feel different. Part of you accepted emotional heaviness as though it would simply remain your permanent reality forever. But come closer now and listen carefully to me. Your life was never meant to remain trapped inside endless survival. I did not create your heart only to endure pressure without peace. I know you have been wounded deeply. I know disappointment changed the way you see the future sometimes. I know there are still scars inside you connected to loss, rejection, loneliness, confusion, and unanswered prayers. Yet even with all of that, I am telling you now that your life can become lighter again. Not because every problem will suddenly disappear overnight. Not because pain never visits human hearts again. But because you were never meant to carry everything without me beside you. I want you to stop fighting every battle alone. Stop waking up every day immediately picking up anxiety before the day even begins. Stop dragging old shame, old fear, old grief, and old disappointments into every new season of your life. Some of your exhaustion comes from carrying emotional weight that I have been asking you to release for a very long time. Sit quietly with me for a moment and breathe deeply. Let your guarded heart soften here. You do not need to perform strength every second. You do not need to have every answer immediately. You do not need to keep proving your worth through endless struggle. Lay your burdens down little by little and let me teach your spirit how to rest again. And listen carefully now, my child. Peace often returns gradually, like dawn slowly pushing darkness back across the horizon after a long night. At first the changes may seem small. Your thoughts become calmer. Your heart becomes softer. Your fear loosens its grip a little more each day. Hope begins returning quietly. You notice beauty again. You breathe differently. You stop expecting disaster every moment. Healing unfolds gently when your spirit finally stops resisting rest. Invite me fully into your daily life now, not only into your emergencies. Walk with me through ordinary moments too. Speak honestly with me when fear rises. Sit with me when your heart feels tired. Let my presence become your safe place instead of constantly running toward distraction, overthinking, or emotional isolation. You do not have to keep living emotionally crushed beneath the weight of everything you survived. There is still peace ahead for you. There is still joy ahead for you. There is still healing unfolding inside places that once felt permanently broken. So stop believing your life will always feel this heavy. Stay close to me now. Let me carry what has exhausted your spirit for far too long. If you let me walk beside you fully, your heart will slowly rediscover something it has deeply missed for years. The feeling of finally being able to breathe again. My child, as I teach your spirit how to breathe again, I am also calling you to help carry that same peace to others who are still drowning beneath invisible burdens. There are people arriving at this message exhausted, anxious, emotionally crushed, and barely holding themselves together. Yet I am using these words like manna in the wilderness to sustain them one more day. When you support this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you help keep streams of living water flowing toward hearts that desperately need comfort, direction, and hope. This is not ordinary giving. This is a prophetic act of partnership with the work I am doing through these messages across nations and generations. Did I not say that the generous soul will prosper, and that those who honor me will not be put to shame? I am watching every obedient seed released with faith, and I will breathe multiplication, provision, protection, and supernatural peace back into the lives of those who give willingly. The enemy wants silence, exhaustion, and hopelessness to spread, but your support helps my truth continue breaking chains and lifting weary souls back into the light. So do not wait for another moment to pass. Act now through Super Thanks. Become a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, and help my message reach the hearts crying out for relief tonight. Before you leave, I want you to think about someone in your life whose heart has been quietly carrying pain the way yours has. Someone who feels tired, lost, unseen, or emotionally overwhelmed. If this message reached you at the right moment, share it with at least 3 people you care about and let this light reach them too. Sometimes I use one healed heart to gently lead another heart back toward hope. And before this moment passes, I want you to leave a declaration in the comments that your heart can return to when difficult days try to speak louder than truth. Right, I am not forgotten, and my life will become lighter. Let those words become more than a comment. Let them become your reminder that I am still walking beside you through every unanswered question, every healing season, and every step ahead. When you declare it openly, you are no longer agreeing with fear, exhaustion, or hopelessness. You are making room for peace to enter your heart again. Subscribe now if your spirit knows this message was meant for you. There are still words I need your heart to hear in the days ahead, especially during the moments when fear, exhaustion, and loneliness try to return. Stay connected to this place where I remind you that you are loved, guided, and never forgotten. Amen.